Okay, let's be real, we've all been there. You pour everything into a new product, the team is hyped, and then crickets. The numbers just aren't adding up. It's that massive, multi-million-dollar question that every team faces. What actually went wrong? Today we're going to dig in and find out how you can pinpoint the real culprit. So picture this. Your new product is stalling out, and the war room is completely divided. Half the team thinks the core idea is flawed, that it's a strategy problem. The other half swears the product is genius, but the marketing or the onboarding dropped the ball, an execution problem. And here's the thing, guessing wrong isn't just a simple mistake. It's a potential catastrophe that can burn through cash and months of hard work. And this is the debate that can tear teams apart. A strategy failure means, fundamentally, you built the wrong thing. An execution failure means you built the right thing, but you just rolled it out poorly. One means you have to go all the way back to the drawing board. The other means you just need to tighten a few screws. So how in the world do you know which one it is? To make this less theoretical and a lot more real, let's dive into a case study. This is about a SaaS company that was completely and utterly stuck. Their data was giving them all sorts of mixed signals, and they were right on the verge of making a very, very expensive bad call. Just look at their numbers for a second. The data was baffling. A 40% trial sign-up rate is actually pretty good. It tells you the marketing message is hitting home, that people are curious, but then, bam, a total cliff. The paid conversion rate plummeted to 23%. There was a huge leak somewhere in their funnel, but their analytics gave them zero clues as to why. So they did what most of us would do. They started talking to customers, user interviews, surveys, the whole 9 yards. But it just made things worse. The feedback was all over the map. People would say they were satisfied, but then they wouldn't actually buy. After a whole month of this, they were no closer to an answer, just a lot more confused. So instead of burning another month arguing in circles, they decided to try something radically new. They used an AI-powered research approach to get a diagnosis, not in weeks, but in minutes. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's kind of wild. A process that usually takes 6 to 8 weeks of painstaking, tedious work is crunched down into 20 minutes. That's not just a little bit faster. That is a fundamental game changer for how quickly you can get to the root of a problem. And the numbers here are just staggering. You're not just saving time, we're talking about a cost difference between, say, 20 grand and about $100. But honestly, the most important metric here is that last one, clarity. You go from low, all that messy, ambiguous feedback, to high. You get a crystal clear answer. So you're probably wondering, how does this AI thing actually work? Well, it's a pretty straightforward 3-step process. First, it automates the research setup. Second, and this is the cool part, it runs simulations with AI personas that are designed to act just like your target customers. And finally, it analyzes all that feedback using proven business frameworks like jobs to be done to figure out the real problem a customer is trying to solve. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, can an AI really act like a real customer? It's a fair question, but the accuracy here is pretty remarkable. These AI personas can replicate human decision-making with about 85% accuracy. They maintain consistent personalities and use logical reasoning, which lets them uncover the why behind their choices. And this is where it all clicked. This is the breakthrough moment. The AI ran automated interviews with 18 different personas, each one representing a slice of the company's target market. And the feedback they got back? Well, it cracked the case wide open. The very first piece of the puzzle came back almost instantly. The personas all confirmed that they understood the product's value proposition. And this was a huge signal. It meant this probably wasn't an execution failure. The marketing wasn't the problem. People got it. Then came the but. And this was the crucial insight that all that traditional research had completely missed. The product didn't exist in a vacuum, right? The personas started talking about their actual day-to-day workflow and the other tools they already relied on. And this was the final nail in the coffin. The product, even with all its good intentions, was actually creating more work. By not integrating with their existing tools, it was breaking their workflow. So this wasn't about users being confused. This was a conscious, logical rejection of the product. So what we have here is a classic strategy failure. The company thought they were solving the job of improving productivity, but the real job, the one users actually needed done, was improve my productivity without blowing up my existing workflow. They had built a beautiful solution to the wrong problem. So, Armed with this clear, evidence-based diagnosis, the company could finally stop debating and start acting with real confidence. They knew exactly what they had to fix, and the results, well, they speak for themselves. So instead of throwing more money at ads or onboarding fixes, they took immediate, decisive action. First, they pivoted the entire product roadmap to prioritize building integrations with their users' top 3 tools. Second, they completely rebuilt their messaging to be all about seamless integration. And third, they hit pause on their big marketing push until the product was actually ready. And the payoff was massive. They saved $200,000 in marketing spend that would have gone right down the drain. They managed to pivot their entire strategy 6 weeks faster than they would have otherwise. And best of all, once those integrations launched, their paid conversion rate shot up by 40%. That's the power of getting the diagnosis right. Okay, so let's zoom out from this one story for a minute. What's the big lesson here that you could apply to your own projects? Well, it all comes down to learning how to spot the right signals. This is really the core takeaway. A strategy failure sounds like, I get it, but I don't need it. An execution failure sounds more like, wow, I didn't know it could do that, or the price is just too high. See the difference? One is a conscious rejection of your core idea. The other is just a roadblock preventing an interested user from signing up. Ultimately, what this new technology really gives us is the ability to finally get to the why behind what our users do. It can tell you if people are actively choosing not to use your product because it's just wrong for them, or if they're simply getting stuck somewhere along the way. And that distinction, well, it's everything. So the next time you're staring at a dashboard with some disappointing numbers, just ask yourself this question. Was it a failure of your strategy or a failure of your execution? Because the exciting part is, now you can actually find out the answer, and you can do it in minutes, not months.